A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we warmly welcome you to Yokoten. Yokoten is a series that is used to share best practices, experience from experts to experts. So today we have Asitha with us. Asitha, warmly welcome you to Yokoten session. How are
Hi,
you?
Yasas. Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm going to see you soon, very soon. So we can then probably record another session physically together, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yes, looking forward to meet you in physical.
Definitely. And Asi, now all this time, probably our viewers have seen us as A to I. So we need to
Yes,
say this is not A to I. This is Yokoten different series, where it's not only Asita, it's not only experts from Hash 33, but we look forward in introducing other experts from the industry in various fields. If there's any practice sharing, best practice that can be shared, any new knowledge that can be shared, we're going to invite that type of person onto this platform. So if you are one of those viewers and you think you have something unique, something that you can help and share which should improve someone else, please get in touch with us. We would like to have you in our session. So with that, let me introduce Asitha formally. So Asitha is the CEO and he's also a business partner of Hash 33. He is also, probably not most of them know this, whilst he's a Toastmaster, he's also NLP practitioner, certified NLP practitioner. Uh,
correct.
shall we start, Asi, by explaining what NLP is before I really screw it up and say something wrong? I would like you to explain what NLP is.
Sure, Yasas. So before I start this conversation, Yasas, I wanted to emphasize one area. Now, I've learned NLP through a master coach, a wonderful master coach called Suren. I went to physically to India to learn this physical environment. And whatever I am sharing with you today, Yasas, it's purely based on my understanding about NLP, how I understood about this concept. So that's what I'm going to share with you. I hope that statement is okay before we start, before
Definitely.
we move forward.
Definitely, Asi. I think spot on. One thing we are doing on Yokoten session is sharing our opinion, sharing our understanding, sharing our experience. So it doesn't mean like, ChatGPT and Gemini that we are correct in what we are sharing.
Correct.
It's up to the listeners, the viewers to kind of grab what they feel that they would like to adopt. And again, it's a personal opinion. So opinions
Absolutely.
can be different from person to person. So with that, go ahead, Asi. What is
Right.
NLP?
Thanks, Yasa. So, I mean, when you use the word NLP, it's called Neuro Linguistic Programming. But for me, NLP, it's like way of life, Yasas. Now, why I say it's way of life is it's about understanding the connection between our mind and the language that we use. Probably the language, it's not the language that we are speaking Sinhala or English or Tamil or any other language. It's the language that we use internally, so we can form a certain behavior. So that's why I say it's, for me, NLP, it's way of life, and how we communicate within ourselves to use impactful positive behavior. So that's NLP for me.
Okay, very interesting. So let's have some background music as well so that
Yeah.
we can get more energy onto the session.
Yes. I like
Yes.
music.
Great. So why I asked you to also explain NLP is because
Hmm.
NLP from an AI perspective also is another acronym, natural language
Hmm.
processing. So we don't want our viewers to think that we are going to talk something with AI or natural language being used in AI. So NLP is neuro linguistic programming. So according to
Program.
you, Asi, your opinion, it's a connection between your mind and the words you use and how that can have an impact in others, I believe. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
So it's about communication as well. It's to understand someone's behavior, so we can perceive. Say it can be someone's behavior, or else it can be your own behavior. Because most of the time, yes, as most of us, majority of the people, like to achieve certain goals in their life, right? They have their own desires, they have their own goals, probably they can say dreams, uh, all that terminology. For you to achieve these certain goals, obviously you need to take action. And when you're taking action, the conversation that we have with ourselves is support. If it is supporting, you can achieve that goal or desire or objective or dream, right? But if it is disempowering you, so it's going to be little difficult to achieve that goal. So that's why I said, for me it's way of life. It's how I
Yeah.
communicate with myself to understand myself better.
Okay. So what you mean is it's kind of learning NLP is also kind of a self-discovery process, I believe. Is that the right
Absolutely,
word to
absolutely.
use?
Uh,
Okay.
I really like the word that you used, Yasa, self-discovery. You know, personally, I have been to Tony Robbins programs. I have been in his community, and in the both of us are in the journey of self development. What something that I have truly uncovered after when I went through this 14 days program, and it actually gave me lot of clarity about myself, uh, clarity about my thoughts, clarity about my behaviors, clarity about my approach in certain incidents. So I would say, just like you said, it can be a way of understanding yourself in a deeper level. So that's what NLP has supported me to understand myself in a deeper level, as well as to understand other individuals that I am interacting with.
Okay, that's quite interesting. And now we are talking about how this is relevant to business leaders or the
Hmm.
business community or entrepreneurs or founders. So, do you think this is something, NLP is something that every business leader or team leader should adopt? Is it a skill they should develop? Is it a skill they should understand? Or is it a skill in the first place? Is it a practice? How do you see it?
Right. I would say, obviously, the practice will be a skill. It will become a behavior. Yes, yes, right. Not only for business leaders. In my personal opinion, I would say learning NLP is really good for any human being. Right, because most of the time, like, let's say if an organization, let's take a company, right? uh, Both of us have experience when we engage with this organization employees or leadership teams. One of the biggest challenges both of us we foresee is they have an issue in between the communication between the tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3. And when they have this issue, communication issues, that's where the conflicts happens, because assumptions happens, misunderstanding happens. When you learn certain techniques in NLP, you will be able to understand the other person in a better way. So when you can understand the other person's world, other person's perspective in a better way, that means you will get a lot of clarity about that conversation. So
Right,
when you have
right.
clarity, you can pursue whatever the desires that you wanted to pursue. So it's important for all the leaders, and forget about leaders, every human beings to learn
Any
about
person.
in my personal perspective. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now there's a word that the name itself says programming, and you said
Mm,
it would help you in understanding another person in a better way. And
mm,
also we said it is the use of how you use your thoughts and your words. So can one assume or worry that learning NLP is kind of hypnotic? You could kind of put someone into a trance, you can program someone without knowing, get them to kind of do things without their understanding. I just want to clear any doubt or myth that somebody could have. Is
right,
NLP having that capability?
right. Uh, with the limited knowledge that I have, Yasas, well, through certain techniques, obviously you can help other people to go through in their transformation, right? It's purely based on the techniques and the words that we are using. So when we now, let's say for an example, let's say if you have a disempowering habit, a habit that is not supporting you to become better, right? If you have that disempowering habit, NLP itself has certain techniques. So through that techniques, the person can support you to come out from that disempowering habit and replace that disempowering habit with an empowering habit, so you can achieve certain goals, right?
Understood.
Uh, it's not hypnotizing someone or anything, but through that technique, through that guidance, you will gain realizations.
Definitely. So I think the important fact is that there's misconception in most of these things, even hypnotism, right? People think like you can hypnotize, if you're a hypnotist, you can hypnotize people against their willingness, which is a myth. So NLP also is same. You as a receiver, if you are adopting NLP as a practice, yes, then you kind of basically program yourself with good things, right? So there's a willingness that's involved. Now, if anyone is unwilling, and just because, let's say, Asi, you're an NLP practitioner or you're an NLP expert, and I stand in front of you, you cannot program me like with, just a set of words. It's not a spell. I think that is
Correct.
what we should clearly tell our audience, because there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to these type of learnings. And then these learnings are probably as a skill, as a knowledge base today, it's becoming common domain, but they've actually been used for years and years without probably even knowing the terminology, without knowing it as a study or a skill. People
Yeah.
have been using NLP. And I would say probably in particular situations, even from a religious perspective, from a philosopher's perspective, from probably a mentor lecturer's perspective, NLP had been used for probably centuries, but not as a study. If you take even marketing, is very new in terms of a terminology, right? If you call
True, true.
marketing as a study, is probably about 100 years old. But marketing has been always used from, the development of humans in terms of getting them to know something. So I think NLP is also something like that, right, Tasi?
Yeah, I really like the terminology that you use, Yasas, because most of us, I would say the humans, we use NLP without knowing this is NLP. Now, for an instance, when we have a conversation, if that conversation is really interesting, you will intentionally listen to that conversation. So,
Definitely.
active listening is part of receiving, how you are receiving information. People receive through our five senses. Yes, yes, right. And it's
Exactly.
been taught in Buddhism, it's been taught in other religions as well. So how we receive information is through our five senses. So when our five senses are activated, like for an instant, the place that I am seated in is an uncomfortable place. It's not my usual place. Because of the internet issue, I have to move to a different place, and I am
Correct.
literally seated on the ground, and it's uncomfortable for me. Right? Physically, it's uncomfortable for me. But if I divert my focus into that uncomfortability, I will lose the connection between you.
Definitely.
Right? So I am intentionally focusing my focus to you, to what you are saying. Because when I receive good information from you through my senses, after that I filter the senses and information, and then I respond. So with the information that I gather from all around, I create my own reality about what you are saying. Based on my reality, I give the answer or maybe respond. So
Definitely.
unknowingly, knowingly, people use NLP.
Definitely. And just to add on to that, as a mentalist, what I realized is some of our mentalism techniques that we use, though it's not told as NLP, is actually using NLP as a practice, because it does, as you rightly explained now, it's sometimes getting the right focus. It's sometimes diverting or getting, your audience or your participants to think in some way, get them to kind of really focus on certain things, get real, I wouldn't use the word influence, but get a better understanding about things that you're talking. So it's actually using NLP techniques, and I haven't formally learned NLP, but I believe the techniques I've learned as a mentalist again has been evolved over years and years, and has already brought NLP as part of it as well. So one of my goals is also to someday learn NLP formally like you do, so that I
Yeah.
would understand the art of it, the science of it, and develop it as a skill and practice myself. So let me move on to the next question, Asi, because we are always fighting with time. You touched
Yes.
upon a bit on the next question that I was about to ask, and that is, a lot of us as humans have certain behaviors, habits that we want to change. For an
Mm.
example, it might be an addiction. It might
Mm.
be a limiting fact, like maybe you're getting angry all the time
Mm.
because of certain triggers that happens in your
Mm.
life.
Mm.
Maybe it's certain loss of motivation, low mindset, being having low energy in certain situations, not being
Mm.
productive. Now these are common challenges people have, and they would always talk,
True.
and they'll say, like, is there a way I could get rid of this? Do you think NLP can help in some of these areas?
Yeah, I love that question, Yasas, and also I like the word that you use, triggering. Uh, uh, Generally, what happens is, for most of us, including myself, when we encounter a challenge based on our past experiences, based on what we have experienced, probably your parents have experienced, probably what you have seen related to that challenge, or something similar to that challenge, it triggers us. You can actually vouch. I used to have a really bad disempowering habit of getting angry when I drive. If someone cut across me, or when something happens while I'm driving, I get agitated. It triggers me. So through this NLP program, when I went through that process, I understood that trigger came from my father's side. When he used to drive, he gets angry. As a child, I have seen it, and it has installed that behavior inside my subconscious mind. And when something happens, my experience comes and I respond the way that my father used to respond. That was a disempowering habit, right? Uh, Now, whenever we face certain challenges, a technique name is called reframing, Yasas, right? Whenever we encounter a challenge, we can use this technique, reframing technique. So reframing technique, it involves shifting our perspective from the issue to a resourceful issue. So we will have clarity about the thought that we have, why we get triggered, and the way that we are reacting. We have, if that reaction is not supporting us, then we have clarity. Okay, I should not react like this. Probably if this person is cutting across, probably he might be going to the hospital or some emergency. So we are giving clarity, and we are reframing that problem to a resourceful problem. Rather than reacting, we are responding to our thought.
You're reflecting,
Yes, you are responding to the
responding.
action, or rather to that incident, to the challenge. That doesn't
Right.
mean you can 100%ly, I mean, I'm still sharing my opinion. You can 100%ly reduce that. Obviously, with constant continuous practice, you will be able to master it. But now for me, whenever I encounter a challenge, earlier I used to react. Now I pause, do certain techniques to break that pattern, and then respond. So that's supporting my behaviors. I hope I gave the answer, Yasas, at
Of
least
course,
a little
Asi.
bit.
So just to kind of summarize or add on to it, what you mean is, if you do have limiting behaviors, if you have triggering elements, right? Because as you said when we started, the five senses or the six senses, right?
Yes.
Um, all these sensors are constantly giving information to our brain, right?
Hmm.
And I think I can bring one example. Most of us, if we go back, this so-called nostalgic moments, sometimes when you have a particular smell, sometimes when we hear particular music,
Yes,
sometimes when we sense a particular taste, it immediately brings back either positive or negative set of thoughts, memories. Okay,
absolutely,
if you have
absolutely
gone through a breakup and you've listened to some particular music, and that music many years later, if you listen again, it brings you that same feelings, right?
true.
If there's a particular food that you liked or disliked that you tasted when you were a kid and you taste it quite many years later, it immediately brings back those memories. So those are all these triggering factors what you're talking about. It had been embedded in your brain, those
True.
memories, with a particular stimuli that you got from your senses. And what you say is, if
Mm.
it's negative and if you want to change it, using NLP techniques, you can go back and change that particular memory or the feeling with new, better, positive feelings. And that way, you are not going to react the same way that you would have reacted in the past, whether it's an addiction or whether it's a limiting behavior. You can change that with NLP. Am I correct in that, Asi?
Correct, yes, as because a misunderstanding most of us having, just because we practice once, it's not going to work like that, because you have to go through that process. For me to
Yes.
break that disempowering thought, I had to go through a rigorous process, and that's why I respond in a better way when I drive. Obviously, that doesn't mean I don't get agitated, or no, I do get agitated. I'm also human, right? But
Of
now I
course.
respond in a better way. If 10 incidents happen, at least 8 incidents I respond in a better way, so which
You
is
can
good
manage
for
in a
me.
better way.
Yeah,
And it's obviously a continuous practice like anything, isn't it?
100%, 100%. Yeah,
Brilliant. So, Asi, I think the most important part, if we can reframe or recall what we've discussed, NLP is neuro linguistic programming. It's something that almost anyone should learn, study, and there are ways that you could do that. You can work with someone like Asi, who is a certified practitioner. You can probably follow up with anyone who knows the subject in deep, but I think there's a formal way of learning it, and that would empower you better. And as an individual, that could help you to be probably even focus, get a better focus in things you do. Also, it would help you to overcome your disempowering behavior that you have, whether it's a negative behavior, whether it's a sad um, mindset, or whether it's a requirement to program yourself, like maybe as a, even I know sports personalities, they kind of program themselves to be energetic, to have a better positive mindset at the
mm,
moment that they need their full energy to get involved, so they're going through NLP skills.
true.
So there are many aspects and use cases that you can use NLP for the betterment of your life and the life around you. So anything last as you want to talk about just before we end the session today?
um, Obviously, as well, it's now for me, NLP is something is truly dear, right? And this year also I'm going again back to Goa to learn from coach Suren, our master coach, to, I mean, in order to learn these techniques and in a deeper level, mastery level, right? Why I do it is, one thing is to understand myself better. I'm sure most of us are in a journey of understanding their passion, no mission, no all that, right? But for you to be in that state, for you to go in that journey, understanding yourself will help you. So if you like to know more about yourself, something that you can learn is through NLP, you can have a clear understanding about yourself. So if you like it, you can make that decision to learn. So that's what I wanted to say.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Asi. I think it was so interesting. We couldn't even engage any of the questions that came in the comment section, but please continue to comment, whether it's on our Facebook page or YouTube channel or LinkedIn. We will get back to you, and you can follow Azi on LinkedIn as well. He's very easy to find on LinkedIn, or you can comment on any of our social media channels, and we will copy Azi's link into it so that you can follow him and you can get in touch with him. So once again, Asit, thank you very much for joining us with the Yokoten and best practice sharing, knowledge sharing session. And we hope we can have you again for future Yokoten sessions with different topics, or maybe an extension of the same topic. So once again, thank you very much, and we would want to thank the lovely audience who have connected with us. Please continue, share with anyone you think that this information would be useful, and please continue, because we'll be talking about various topics in our upcoming episodes as well. So once again,
Yes.
thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good evening.
Yasas. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome. Take care. Bye.